Welcome everyone to a new installment of the N&P Spotlight On webcast series. My name is Joe Curry. I'm Director of Americas for N&P. In today's session, we're focused on some of the broader changes and trends that we're seeing within the hotel travel vertical as a direct result of the pandemic-19 effect on corporate travel. Today, we're joined with an expert, the CEO of TripBam, Mr. Steve Reynolds. He's here to provide a little bit of perspective on this subject matter. And to introduce yourself, Steve.
Yeah. Hi, Joe. Thanks for having me. Yeah. So just a real quick introduction. I mean, TripBam started the company about 9 years ago now, headquartered in Dallas, Texas. We also have offices in London and so on. We've gotten to be fairly global. We serve about 2,000 companies around the world. And we provide just kind of a very broad and holistic approach to hotel program management. We're probably best known for our daily rate shopping solution. We invented that in the space. We also have what we call Smart Share Shift, where we look for other hotels where we can find deals nearby and shift travelers from non-preferred properties to preferred. We've got automated rebooking solutions, benchmarks, analytics, sourcing, you name it. We kind of run the gamut when it comes to hotel program management.
So couple of quick questions as we get in. So I know that we're seeing a lot of different changes as far as distribution models and the evolution of dynamic pricing models. Are we moving more towards a consumer approach in hotel sourcing and distribution?
No, I don't know that if consumer is the right way to put it. I think you're moving more towards a more dynamic environment for hotel procurement. Putting a hotel program in place over 90 days and then sort of set it, forget it. I think those days are quickly behind us. I think now if you're going to put in the effort to put in a hotel or have a hotel program, you need to monitor it on a regular basis to make sure you're actually getting the savings that you expect. Just to have a negotiated discount with a hotel doesn't mean that you actually get the discount. It just means that there's a discount loaded in the GDS. It may or may not be available. It may or may not be generating a significant discount off retail rates. You need to kind of constantly monitoring that stuff and adjust accordingly. And so that's why we think moving to a more technically driven, data, benchmark driven, real-time, dynamic, and including dynamic discounts, it's just a much better way to go. And it seems to be there's a trend to go that direction.
And so as a follow-up to that, what impact do new sourcing approaches and availability of benchmarking data by segment and market have on the sales process for hotels?
Yeah, so the big challenge there is the data that you relied on historically is no longer valid. Let's say you had a rate of $189 at a 4-star hotel in New York, whatever it might be. That rate is no longer applicable for benchmarking because right now, today, retail rates have dropped by 30 to 35%. So before you would expected a 25 to 30% discount. Now it's actually negative compared to market rates. So everything is requiring a readjustment. In addition to that, the volume that you had historically, who knows what your volume is going to be going forward. And so that needs to be kind of rethought and reset. And that's why we think, now is a kind of perfect time to switch to a dynamic model. Because all the scenarios that we've run through our system and working with clients is that you'll do better with a dynamic program with dynamic discounts, going into 2021 than you would from a static program because you're going to get inflated rates with static rates and just because of lack of really valid information. And you're just going to give up savings as a result. Now, you can always flip to static later if you want, but we think the right approach is dynamic for now. Keep a close eye on it. We all monitor it. We use cap rates and target rates and all those kind of fun things to make sure nothing goes way out of bounds. And then, adjust accordingly, as we go.
And then within this new dynamic model, who holds the best ability to negotiate, the hotel sales manager or the chain sales manager themselves?
Yeah, that's going to really vary depending on the size of the company and the size of spend within the hotel. We kind of believe you're going to get most of the attention, most of the negotiating ability if you go directly to the property, because there's the one that really care. However, if that particular property is owned by a chain, they're going to toe the line and they're just going to keep sending you to the NAM or to the GAM, whatever it might be, at the chain level. And they do provide value. Those NAMs do go out. They go and work with the revenue managers to try and get you deals and so on. But And oftentimes, if you've got a lot of volume with a specific hotel, you're going to be better off going to the property direct.
So obviously, TripBam is at the forefront of a lot of these benchmarking and data initiatives, as well as technology tools behind the hotel sourcing process. But what are some of the other hotel-related technologies and data aggregation tools that you see coming to the forefront in the post-COVID-19 world?
Yeah, so for the data consolidation, and you've also got the potential of travelers booking direct, which sort of creates this big fragmented, data that's difficult to put together. There's companies like Traxo and CapTrav that do a pretty good job of getting these direct bookings and consolidating them to get them into your system. And then you've got reporting tools like PredictX and Cornerstone and such that do a really nice job of reporting on your travel program. But we think, our reporting solution is much more in-depth and much more specific to hotel program management, where we grade the hotels, we grade the discounts, we grade the LRA performance. We go way beyond just telling you volume and spend and such, even to the point where we actually action the results from our system, to where now we can source deals with hotels where all of a sudden you have significant volume. They can tell you exactly what discount you should be requesting, what benchmark rate you should get. We've got so many clients now in the system, we can provide benchmark rates at virtually any hotel around the world. It just goes so much further than the typical reporting solution. But when it comes to other solutions that are out there, there's quite a bit around data capture and reporting that companies could rely on if needed.
Thank you. And I know it's tough to kind of gauge where we're going to be in a month or a few weeks from now, but looking ahead 5 years from now, what does the travel landscape look like, or the corporate travel landscape for hotels specifically look like?
Yeah, it's hard to crystal ball it because things are changing or so different right now with COVID. But I do believe once we come out of this, hotel programs will be a lot more dynamic. The gone are the days of set it and forget it. You're going to be constantly monitoring your program, putting deals in place, taking deals out, renegotiating deals, and so on. Monitoring program performance real time. Am I getting my discount as promised this week, this month, this day, and such. And so as a consequence, it's just going to be much more dynamic and much more real time. And the end result of that will be just a big increase in savings and the value of having a hotel program to a company. Just saying you've got 200 to 2,000 negotiated hotels, that means one thing, but to know how much you've actually saved and how much incremental savings you've produced, by staying on top of it, is what's really going to matter. So those travel managers that are on their game are going to be implementing this kind of a dynamic approach and much more always on paying attention approach. And whether they do that internally using their own staff or use a consultant is really up to them. But it's just, and this craziness that all the industry goes through, where we spend this 3 to 4 months negotiating discounts and then we stop. Those are going to be gone.
All right. Well, with that, thank you, Steve. We always appreciate your perspective. For those of you out there, we appreciate you watching today. To view other webcasts, please go to NeedandPinto.com or the Need and Pinto LinkedIn company page. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Joe.